Welcome to Kautilya Careers. See, we all are happy for the coming notification for the teachers recruitment in the state of Telangana in the name of what we call Gurukul teachers recruitment. As a part of this recruitment process, that government of Telangana has decided to conduct the recruitment test process into two parts. So through this notification, the government of Telangana is decided to fill the teacher vacancies in almost all residential schools, that is particularly BC social welfare residential, SC ST social welfare residential schools, and even in the minority schools. So that's why here the government has decided to merge all these residential schools under one society, that is Gurukul society. In the name of Telangana Gurukul society, the government decided to fill all these teacher posts through this teacher recruitment test. We can expect that notification for this Gurukul teachers recruitment very soon. Now let us analyze what are the different parts and the process and the pattern of this recruitment test. So as early said by the government, this recruitment process has totally handed over to Telangana Public Service Commission, as we known pretty well. So the chairman for this Public Service Commission already revealed the information about the process and pattern of examination. So particularly in this process, so that is the posts which are going to be filled under this Telangana Gurukul society, that is TGT post, PGTs, principals, JLs, and lecturers in degree colleges. This all comes under the teaching post. In addition to this teaching post, government also decided to fill that administrative post, what we call non-teaching posts. So here, what about this non-teaching post means, that is clerical cadre, office cadre, account section, librarian, and lab assistants, lab technicians, and other related posts which are not comes under the teaching category. All these posts, that is teaching and non-teaching posts, are going to be filled by this Telangana Public Service Commission in coming days. After this notification, we can expect this notification, I think, within a couple of days from the Public Service Commission. Now, regarding the syllabus for this recruitment test part, as we said earlier, the process of the examination that will be conducted, so yes, in two parts. That is what we call the first part consists of what it is general studies. So the marks allotted for this paper is 150. So this paper, what we call, as said by the commission and the government sources, this is just a qualifying examination. The marks, whatever the candidate is going to get, will not be considered in the final marks. So the final marks are different. Only this general studies paper is absolutely meant for qualifying examination. And moreover, this paper is common for all categories right from TGT, PGT, principals, junior lecturers and degree college lecturers. All these aspirants who are going to apply for this post must and should qualify in this paper, that is general studies paper. Then only there is eligibility for these candidates to attempt and attend the next concept, that is main examination. So the first part is nothing but qualifying examination and the second part is known as the main examination. The first part is nothing but it consists of general studies paper, which is that marks allotted for this general studies is 150. Here under this paper, that is general studies, what the student is supposed to prepare, that is the biggest question. Here we can split that concepts of this general studies into different categories. That is the first one under this general studies, we can bifurcate. That first one is, that is say general science. So general science means again we can bifurcate into physics, chemistry, botany, zoology and science and technology, and moreover environmental studies. So all this comes together, the concept of general science, and physics, chemistry, botany, zoology, science and technology and environmental studies. So this we can cover the concept, that is general science. So this is not only the syllabus in the general studies, it is a part of general studies, one of the parts of the syllabus which was prescribed in general studies, that is general science. After this general science, if you consider, that is the second one, social sciences. These social sciences also can be bifurcated, like that is geography, history, polity, economics and moreover population, education. All this comes under the second concept under the general studies, that is social sciences. First one is general science and second concept is social sciences, which includes geography, history, polity, economics and population education. And after this, the third part, what we are supposed to prepare, that is mathematical, in order to test the awareness, the abilities and the aptitude of the candidate, so that government and Public Service Commission prescribed the syllabus, that is aptitude. Aptitude means here, that is quantitative aptitude. Quantitative aptitude and reasoning. So this is the third part, that is mathematical part, thinking, reasoning capacity, creative capacity. All these things can be tested through these concepts, that is aptitude, particularly numerical as well as quantitative aptitude, and the second concept is reasoning. This is the third part. And fourth part is, generally in almost all competitive examinations we know that there is a good weightage for current affairs. Current affairs right from local to global. Current affairs right from local to global, and GK. Standard GK means nothing but, if you consider all these, the first one general science, second part social sciences, third part aptitude and reasoning, All this together comes under that is stock GK, nothing but general knowledge. But in addition to that of general knowledge, we must have that awareness on this current affairs, which is from local to global. Each and every concept, economical sector, geographical concept, historical concepts, and science and the concepts related to science and technology and appointments or any new books and their authors, prizes, all these things comes under this is what we call current affairs. And in order to test the language skills in the candidate, so the fifth one is that is what we call general English. So all this together what we call the qualifying examination paper, what we call part 1 examination in the process of Gurukul teacher recruitment test, that is which is meant for 150 marks, that is general studies. So first part covers general science, second part social sciences, third part mathematical, that is numerical quantitative aptitude along with the reasoning, and fourth part current affairs right from local to global, and fifth part that is general English in order to test the skills and awareness in the language. This is all about that qualifying examination paper, which is common for all categories, that is trained graduate teacher post TGT, postgraduate teacher post PGTs, principals, JLs and degree lecturers. This is the concept and details about that first paper, what we call qualifying examination. Now here we can get one doubt, if it is a qualifying examination, what about the cutoff mark? So it is too early on our part to say this is the cutoff mark for this qualifying examination. In general, as that commission has taken the decision in the earlier examination, so it might be that is 50% or maximum 60% might be the cutoff mark. That means, so for the general category candidates, if the paper is meant for 150 marks, the student is supposed to get that is 50% of 150, that is 75 marks. If it is a 60% cutoff, that is 90 marks. So this is, it's one of the assumption that the general category candidates is supposed to get. So in order to qualify in the first part, that is 75 marks or 90 marks. There may be some exemptions, some low cutoff marks. It may be concerned or that will be decided by the Public Service Commission at the time of notification itself. But in the general criteria, in the general perspective of commission policies, in the earlier examination, the cutoff mark might be either 50% or 60%. Then only the candidate can be allowed to attend and to attempt or to take that main examination, even for TGT, PGT, principals, JLs and also for degree college lecturers. This is the concept of the paper 1, that is part 1 of Gurukul teacher recruitment test. Now let us see what about, suppose a candidate is gone through, qualified in the first part. Now he has that eligibility to take the main examination. What about the main examination? What is the process of that main examination? So this main examination also consists of what we call two parts, that is paper 1 and paper 2. So this main exam again contains two papers, that is paper 1 and paper 2 for all categories, but for some categories, for a few categories there is a variation in the syllabus, but there are two papers in the main examination for each and every category. Now let us see what about the paper 1. The syllabus which was prescribed in paper 1 for what we called TGTs and PGT. For TGT and PGT, trained graduate teachers, and for the post of postgraduate teachers, that paper 1 consists of the syllabus again two parts, that is, one is pedagogy and second one is school management, administration and organization. So these are the what we call, this is the prescribed syllabus in the paper 1 of the main examination for TGTs and PGTs. Not only for TGTs and PGTs, even for principals. And JLs. This is the common paper. TGT, PGT, principals and JLs, not meant for what we call degree college lecturers. Excluding degree college lecturer posts, for all other categories, that paper 1 consists of the topics pedagogy, management, administration and organization. So what about the marks for paper 1? So this paper 1 also designed for 150 marks. So when we bifurcate this 150 marks, it may be 75 plus 75. 75 are meant for all these pedagogical concerns, and the rest of the 75 are related to school management, administration and organization. Or sometimes it might be 50 plus 100, whatever the ratio, but these two are the important components in which that syllabus was prescribed in paper 1 of the main examination. Now here you see the paper 1, though it contains 150 marks, what about the different topics? Different topics which can be asked either in pedagogy or in school management, organization and administration. Now let us see that syllabus, that means the sub-contents which were prescribed for the paper 1 for the post of TGT, PGT, principals and JLs, that is junior lecturers. Now let us see the concepts of pedagogical concerns. Suppose if you take that pedagogical concerns, it may be psychological or content pedagogy. This content pedagogy is nothing but, suppose if the candidate has done her B.Ed by opting that methods, say that is physics and maths or social studies or maths and English as methods, whatever it is, the combination, that pedagogical concerns which are related and associated to their subject will be asked for 50 or 75 marks in paper 1 of main examination. So what are the subcontents in this methodology? That subcontents means what we have to see. Suppose whatever the subject, whether it is a physical science or biological science or mathematics or social studies, What are the contents we are supposed to go through? It means the first thing is about the history of that particular subject. If it is a science, the history of science. If it is a social sciences, the history of the social sciences. If it is a mathematics, the history of mathematics, which is followed by the values of the subject. History of the subject, values of that teaching. Suppose if it is a mathematics, values of teaching mathematics. And next one is aims and objectives. Aims and objectives of that particular subject. Why should we teach? What are the aims? What is its purpose? What we are expecting? What the student is expecting from us? What we are expecting from the students? That is aims and objectives according to Bloom's taxonomy of educational objectives. According to, as per the Bloom's taxonomy of educational objectives, what about the aims and objectives of that concerned subject, if it is a mathematics or science or social studies? So history of the subject, values of the subject, and aims and objectives of that concerned subject. And next important concept is what we call methods of instructions. Methods of instruction or different approaches. Under this concept, what we call, actually in the true sense, pedagogy, that is nothing but it is a Greek word. What we have derived this English word pedagogy. It means it is the combination of two words which belongs to Greek. That is paid and again. Paid means child. Again means to lead. In brief, pedagogy means to lead the child. That's why pedagogical concerns reveals about how to lead the child. That's why there are three fundamental questions in these pedagogical concerns. What are those three fundamental questions? The concepts is nothing but why to teach. The second question is what to teach. Third question is how to teach. These are the three important questions in the field of education, in the management of classroom. The answers for these questions itself can be defined as the pedagogical concerns. Paid child, again to lead. How to lead the boy? If we question ourselves, why to teach? Why should we teach? In order to achieve the educational objectives. That's why we are supposed to go through previously in the earlier chapters aims and objectives of that concerned subject. In order to achieve that educational objectives, we are supposed to teach. That is the answer for the first question, why to teach. And what to teach? Suppose if I want to teach, in order to achieve educational objectives, what to teach? Answer for the question is, we are supposed to teach what we call curriculum, not syllabus. Syllabus is different from curriculum. Syllabus is a part and parcel of curriculum. All activities which will be performed by the school itself can be defined as what we call curriculum. We are supposed to teach the curriculum. School is not meant for only teaching the syllabus. It also looks after so many other activities other than academics. That's why what to teach means we are supposed to teach that curriculum, which is being designed by either a CERT if it is a state syllabus, and by NCERT if it is a central schools or central syllabus. How to teach? Okay, I am interested to teach in order to achieve educational objectives. Okay, I am supposed to teach curriculum, but how to teach? I must have awareness how to present my subject. The answer for this question, that is how to teach, is by using what we call methods of instructions or different approaches. So that's why either pedagogical concerns means it's a very key concept, and it promotes the candidates what we call marks and results, and it enables the student to stand in a better position. If you study all these pedagogical concerns right from what we call grassroots levels. Okay, now here these methods of instruction and approaches. Different subjects might have been different approaches. How to teach mathematics? Even the subject is mathematics, how to teach a particular concepts. There is a different strategies to teach arithmetic, to teach algebra part, to teach trigonometry, to teach plane geometry. Here the same principle will not be useful or work out to teach all the topics, even though all are related to the same subject, that is mathematics. That's why we have to utilize different approaches to teach the different subjects to different contents in the subject. Whatever the mathematics teachers who are teaching that arithmetic, they may or may not teach the concept of trigonometry. The teachers who can teach well the trigonometry may get success or failure in teaching what we call modern algebra, say about set theory, functions, whatever it is. So that's why each and every teacher must have a thorough knowledge and awareness about the different strategies or different approaches or what we call methods of instruction. This chapter plays a key role, a crucial role in the entire pedagogical concerns. And after this methods of instruction, next concept is what we call curriculum. We are supposed to explain, teach about the curriculum, and this curriculum will be designed either by SCERT or by NCERT, depends on the nature of the school. Every school must and should adopt the SCERT, either SCERT curriculum or the curriculum which is being designed by NCERT authorities. So the different types of curriculum, at present what type of curriculum we are following. Here it is also different from the subject to subject. What about the approach we are following for teaching social studies may or may not be equal to other subject. The curriculum approach of social studies may be differ from the curriculum approach of physical science or biological science or general science. So what are the different approaches in the concept of curriculum? As a part of this one, a teacher must have that awareness about the preparation of lesson plan, unit plan and year plan. How to prepare this lesson plan? How to prepare unit plan? How to prepare year plan? What are the different things we should take into consideration before preparing this lesson plan, unit plan and year plan? All these things will be covered in this concept of curriculum. After this chapter, next concept is different strategies. Different strategies which can be adopted in the classroom, which depends on the nature of the subject. That is, for example, oral work, assignments, drill work, micro teaching, group teaching, supervised study, all these things comes under what we call different strategies. And in the same concept, programming, that is what we called BF Skinners. How can we make the student to learn better and better? by adopting the different what we call strategies and different techniques. Among those techniques, we can adopt either oral work or assignments or drill work. In order to improve the knowledge of the academically backward students, we can conduct what we call supervised study. These all are the what we call say brainstorming. There are different techniques. So what we call different strategies depends on the nature of the students and depends on the nature of the subject we can adopt. So that's why each and every student aspirant must have a thorough awareness about the different techniques while we are teaching the different subjects in the classroom. And last concept about this in this pedagogical concerns is the concept of evaluation. So how to evaluate? What is actually the difference between measurement and evaluation? As per the norms of Human Resource Department under that NCERT, now almost all states are being implemented that CCS system, that is CCE, continuous comprehensive evaluation. Before that, what about the different approaches and forms of the evaluation schemes? How to evaluate, how to assess the students' performance, not only academics, in other activities also. In order to assess the performance of the student, we must have that awareness about the evaluation and different approaches of that evaluation. And what about that preparation of the test, the good qualities of the question paper, the characteristic features of a good test, what are the characteristics that should be fulfilled by the good question paper, and what about the blueprint, how to design the blueprint, how to design the question paper, and how we are supposed to give the weightage levels. Weightage levels means content weightage, difficulty levels, and objective levels. How many average questions should be there in the question paper? How many questions can be asked which are related to the difficult and which are easy? Like that, weightage given to the difficulty levels, weightage that should be provided to objectives, weightage that should be provided to content. These all are the important areas under the chapter what we call that is evaluation. These all are the what we call comes under the pedagogical concerns, and this is paper 1, that too only one part is covered. So the main examination paper 1 contains 2. One is pedagogy and second one is school management, administration, organization. So both together that is will be asked for 150 marks. Out of this 150 marks, either 50 marks or 75 marks might be allotted for this pedagogical concerns. What about the subject, whether it is a mathematics or general science or social studies. If the commission is opined to introduce some more pedagogical concerns under the same concept, then there is a chance to introduce some psychological concerns. Psychological concerns means pedagogical concerns of psychology about that adjustment of the child, maladjustment, behavior pattern of the child, children with special needs, mental health and hygiene. All this comes under the concepts of pedagogical concerns of psychology. Those topics may also be included under the same column. So this all together comes under that pedagogy. Out of this 150 marks in the paper 1 of the main examination, so 50 or 75 marks may be allotted for all these pedagogical concerns, whatever the methodology subjects, whether it is physics or biology or social studies or mathematics, whatever it is. This is the concept. Now in the same concept of paper 1, the rest of the marks. It may be either 75 or what we called 50. What about the rest of the marks? Those marks are allotted for management, administration and organization. Management, admin and organization. This is the concept which was introduced newly first time in the teachers recruitment test. The government of Telangana and Public Service Commission introduced this concept newly first time in the history of teacher recruitment test. Why? Because every teacher must have awareness about the policy matters. How to manage the school? When we consider the school as an organization, what about the do's and don'ts? At least the teacher, if he wants to promote as a TGT, wants to promote as PGT, PGT wants to promote as a principal. So that's why this concept, management, administration and organization, made it as a compulsory subject for all categories, that is TGT, PGT, principals and JLs. What about the subtopics? What are the different items what that government is going to ask under this concept is the fundamental concepts of management, administration and organization. What is the difference between management and administration? Which one is superior and which one is inferior, or both are equal? For that one, we have to study what is the nature of management, what is the nature of administration, how both are empirically related to each other, is there any difference between them or not? If it is so, what about the difference? How that administration differ from management, or how the management differ from administration? At the same time, this is the comes under what we call the first topic, organization and organizing. Establishment of organization. Before establishment of organization, we have to plan it well, what we call institutional planning. Without proper institutional planning, we cannot organize any institution. If you do not organize any institution properly, you cannot manage it. That means, though there is a fine gap difference between management and administration, but in general, as we consider the school as an organization, we can use the terms management and administration, what we call as synonyms. There is no much difference between these terms. After the fundamental concepts of this management, administration and organization, in the same topic, what about the different types of managements? Different types of management, that is what we call centralization, decentralization, autocratic, bureaucratic, democratic. So the different types of managements and principles of management, and what about that characteristic features of management, and what are the national wide institutions which are being adopted and established by the Government of India under the Society Act or under by the act made in the what we called Parliament. Say for example, about what we call simply the administrative structure of Indian education. So what about the administrative structure of Indian education at central level as well as at state level? So at central level, the key role will be played by MHRD, Ministry of Human Resource Department. So what about that MHRD? How that administrative structure can be bifurcated as per the norms. So we have to learn complete picture about Ministry of Human Resource Department and particularly Education Department at central level as well as at a state level. Again, at state level means at a district level as well as at a mandal level. What is the what we call hierarchy, and what are the other institutions which are organizing these educational programs and developmental programs and plans are? We have to learn about the establishment of UGC and NCERT, NCTE, NIEPA. These all are the a few organizations like that. National Hindi Madhyamika Samiti, Sanskrit Vidyapit, all these all are what we call national level organizations which are well designed for promoting and developing the education process in our country. So after learning that administrative structure at central level and state level, then MHRD and the relation between the center and state, as we concern about that education and educational matters, and the national level organizations which are what we called being fulfilled the objectives of that educational policy matters, say UGC, NCERT, NCTE, NIEPA and other national level organizations. You have to go through it. These all are the concepts what we have to study in the first topic, what we call that is the in the syllabus, that is administration, management, administration and organization. So that is very, very important concept. And then the concept of same syllabus, the second chapter, school as an organization. This is the second subtopic. When we consider school as an organization, how can we lead the school? In order to establish the school, we need something. What about the something? What we call resources. What are the different resources we require? Physical resources, material resources, financial resources, human resources. These all are the different resources which comes under what we have to go through about the school as an organization. That means all the resources which are required to establish the school. How can we mobilize the different resources which are essential for the establishment of this formal agency what we call school? So in this topic you are supposed to learn about the different resources which are essential for the establishment of the school, and in the same topic you too can learn about the different schools under different managements. Different schools or schools under different management. Say for example, suppose we can bifurcate the schools under different managements. We can write it as central schools. Second one, state government schools. Third one, local body schools. Next one, autonomous. Private, unaided and private aided. You see the different schools. What about their executive bodies? What about the administrative structure of the schools which runs under different management? Say central schools, state government schools, local body means Jilla Parishad, Mandala Parishad, municipal schools, all comes under this local body schools. Kendriya Vidyalayas, Navodaya schools, central schools, railway schools, all comes under the central schools. All residential schools, now what we call it as Gurukula. All these Gurukulas comes under this autonomous schools. Say there are some private aided schools, private unaided schools. At present, what we are observing, almost all the schools are under the sector of either local body, and in the private sector, that is private unaided schools. So these are the what about their administrative structure, and what about the head of the person, what about the policy matters of the different types of schools which are running under the different managements. These all are the things you can learn in this second topic, that is school as an organization. And the third topic, third concept is the role of HM. So what about the role of the headmaster? Why? Because headmaster is just like a spring in watch, a spring to watch, and he is a seal, school is the wax. The success or failure of the school depends on the caliber of the headmaster. So headmaster is supposed to possess two types of aspects. One is administrative aspects and second one is academic aspects. So what about the two different aspects of the headmaster, role of headmaster, administrative and academic? As the administrative in charge, what about the role of headmaster? What are the different duties he is supposed to perform to discharge as the in charge or head for the academic? These are the topics we have to learn in the role of HM. And the fourth concept is what we call role of teacher. Role of teacher. So in this role of teacher, what about the do's and don'ts, characteristic features of the teacher, and how he is supposed to provide guidance and counseling to the students, to the parents, how he is supposed to maintain a proper and appropriate relations with the students, parents, society and community. And particularly in this role of teacher plays a key role in the entire concepts. And next concept is teacher education. What is the necessity of teacher education? What are the different organizations which are providing that education for the teachers? What we call teacher empowerment. In order to enable the teacher to learn more and more skills, teaching techniques, what are the different strategies which are being implemented in our country by the so many national level and state level organizations in order to empower the teachers techniques and teachers professional competencies. All those professional competencies comes under this one, teacher empowerment and teacher education. And the different what we call teacher unions, about the origin of teacher unions in our country and in the world, and how many teacher organizations and unions are there at present. All these things you are supposed to learn under the concept of teacher education. And followed by the next one is quality in education and equity and equality in education. So quality in education, equity and equality. Here equity means without any discrimination. What discrimination? Gender discrimination. Without any gender discrimination, how can we achieve the equity? And how far, how best we can provide that equal opportunities for all sections of the people, irrespective of caste, creed, sex, region, religion and any other grounds. So what are the different strategies? So in order to provide in order to make equity and equality in education, what are the different programs which are being launched by the government of India and by the government of the different states in order to achieve this object, what we call education for all, as per the norms of universal elementary education. So equity and equality. So you have to learn about SSA Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, RMSA Rashtriya Madhyamika Shiksha Abhiyan, all these different programs in order to promote that education in girls, in order to promote literacy in girls, in order to reduce the what we call dropout rate, the different schemes which are being launched by the government of India in order to promote equity and equality, and in order to maintain the standards what we call quality in education. So these are the recent concepts. It's a wonderful topics what we have to remember, the different programs which are being launched by both central government as well as state government. And next one is followed by we must have that awareness about the concept that is population education. So about the population education is not merely meant for counting that people, that doesn't it never comes under this population education. Population education means the size of the family, size of the society, size of the nation, and the consequences which may happen with the growth of population and how it affects the environment, the ill effects of population growth, and the national population policies. And in right from the first 5-year plan onwards, what are the different strategies which are being implemented by the government of India to control this population growth? At present, what about the percentage and ratio and proportions of this population at different states? All these things, including national population policies, we can learn in this concept that is population education. A teacher must have that awareness about this population education, the importance of small families and the ill effects of this population growth. All these things that should be nicely taught to the students by the teacher. That's why the teacher must have awareness on this population education and other concepts. And the next one, this is followed by what we call the teacher must have awareness on environmental education. What about environment? What about the different strategies and resolutions which were passed by the World Congress, National Congress, and different conferences which were held nationally and internationally? Into how many sectors we can bifurcate this environmental ill effects, how to protect that environment, what are the usefulness of that protecting and preserving our environment, otherwise how it is affecting. In order to protect this environment, what are the different acts and laws made by the government of India, whether they are being implemented or not properly? We must have a thorough knowledge about the protection and preservation and conservation of this environment, and environmental acts and environmental laws which were made by the government of India or by our parliament. So these all are the different concepts and different topics in this administration, management and organization. So here let us see once the different topics in this administration, management and organization. The first one covers the fundamental concepts and the center-state relations and different types of management. Next one is national level organizations. Second topic covers school as an organization. That means different resources required and schools which runs under different managements. And third one is the role of headmaster, that is administrative aspects and academic aspects. And next one is teacher education, that is the role of teacher and teacher education. Next one, quality in education, equity and equality in education. And must have awareness on population education along with environmental education. These all are the topics which were prescribed for actually B.Ed students in one of their papers, that is school management, administration and organization. More or less the same topics will be introduced so in this concept of management, administration and organization. But these all are the maximum topics what we can expect. So there is no question of deleting any of the topics what we learnt now. But after this notification, the government may add or include one or more new topics, but there is no question of any detachment of these topics what we explained, what we discussed now. All these topics which are prescribed for management, administration and organization. So like this, friends, paper main examination paper 1 consists of, that is, 2 parts. One is pedagogical concerns, second one is management, administration and organization. Both these topics together are exclusively meant for 150 marks. This is about paper 1 of main examination. Here we can get one doubt, that is, what about suppose TGT and PGT the same syllabus? How can we bifurcate which topic is related to TGT, which one is related to PGT? At the time of releasing that syllabus, that commission explained about the same topics are prescribed for all these posts, that is TGT, PGT, principals and JLs. But depending on the nature of the examination, the standard of questions it depends. So topics are the same, but the difficulty levels of the questions might be varied. If the TGT, all these topics are there, for PGT the same topics, but the difficulty level of questions, there is a clear-cut differentiation. That's why for all these categories, this is also common paper, that is paper 1 of main examination. Now let us see in the main examination, that is paper 2. Paper 2 is also designed for 150 marks. What about the syllabus for paper 2? For paper 2, particularly for TGTs, PGT and JLs, not principals, we have to observe this one. Paper 1 is common for TGT, PGT, principals, JLs. But paper 2, this is only, that is content for 150 marks. Content of their what we call subject. If he is a mathematics candidate, mathematics content. Physical science content. Social studies content. Biology, biological content. For TGT, PGT, JLs, that content that is allotted for 150 marks. But here for the TGT post, what the commission said, so the content, the questions may be asked right from 6th standard to inter standard. For PGTs and JLs, right from high school stage, that is right from secondary stage to degree level. So here you see, for PGTs and JLs, suppose a candidate is appearing for mathematics PGT post. That candidate is supposed to prepare that mathematics right from secondary level to degree level. No doubt at all. For the TGT aspirant, he is supposed to prepare right from 6th class standard to inter-level mathematics. This is the content for TGT mathematics candidate, and this is the content for PGTs and JLs. So this paper 2 is especially designed only to test their knowledge in their mother subject, that is content. That is meant for 150 marks. For TGTs, 6th standard to inter standard, whereas for PGTs and JLs, the same content of their subject, right from secondary stage to degree level they are supposed to prepare. And moreover, what about the principles? What about the syllabus for the principles in paper 2? So for the principles, for the post of these principles, that is paper 2, what they prescribe, that is child development. Child development and child rights and child acts. So this is designed for 150 marks for the principal post. Main examination paper 2 for JL, for TGTs, PGTs, JLs, the syllabus is their content for 150 marks. For the principal post, paper 2, the prescribed syllabus is psychology. It is nothing but child development, child rights and child acts. So don't think that only 3 topics, how it is possible for asking 150 questions from this area. The answer for the question is the child development itself includes about what about the development process of the child right from the birth to death, the different stages in our lifespan, and different developmental phenomena. Next one, after that, what we are supposed to prepare in this child developmental task, the main concept is the process of learning. So learning and different learning theories, and which learning theory is quite suitable to implement to run the classroom successfully. All these concepts play a key role in the child development, that is learning process. Learner, how to understand the learner, how to manage the classroom, what about the process of learning, what about the different theories which are related to the learning. After the learning, then the important concept is about that intelligence. So this intelligence, nowadays emotional intelligence will be given uttermost priority than that of general intelligence. General intelligence is only useful and helpful for getting some marks or academics. But in order to make our life as a successful one, we need this emotional intelligence, which is nothing but, as said by Goldman and Gardner, emotional intelligence enables a person perfect in his life, in his track. That's why intelligence, different intelligence scales, how to assess, how to measure the IQ of a person, how this general intelligence differ from this emotional intelligence, why we are supposed to give the preference for this emotional intelligence, and different intelligence tests what we can adopt in the classroom in order to assess the IQ levels of the students in the classroom. So this is the intelligence concept, and followed by the concepts which are related about the personality. What about personality? Personality theories and personality techniques, and personality, different types of personality test, how to assess the personality of an individual, what are the different techniques we can adopt in order to assess the personality of the child. Personality itself includes both external features as well as internal features. Personality doesn't mean that the physique of the person or simply the height, weight and beauty of the person. It doesn't comes under the personality. So the real nature of the person can be defined as the personality. So that's why how can we get it out, the mask which can be covered by the person internally. What are the different techniques we can apply to take out that mask? So all these theories we can cover under the column of personality. And moreover, the children with special needs is also plays a key role and a crucial role in the concept of child development. So the children with special needs means either physically challenged people or mentally retarded children. So what are the special facilities? Nowadays, is it possible to provide to isolate those challenged persons from the regular students or not? If so, why? If not, why? We have to study in detail about the children, those who are with special needs, either physical challenged persons or mentally retarded children. So according to the universal elementary education, or according to the slogan of education for all, how can we provide that education without isolating the children who requires some what we called special needs? And moreover, along with this concepts, in general things, that is classroom management, adjustment, maladjustment, all this comes under the pedagogical concerns. And moreover, NCF, National Curriculum Framework 2005, and particularly for both TGTs, PGTs, principals, one common topic is there under this column, that is RTE Act 2009, Right to Education Act. There are 38 articles are there, which are divided into 7 chapters. All those articles we have to go through it perfectly. Right to Education Act, which came into existence in the right from the year 2010. What about that act? Why it was named as Right to Education Act? What about the bill? When it was approved by the President of India, when it made it as a law, what we called a law by our parliament, and when it came to existence in the true sense. What about the contents and concerns which are related to this Right to Education Act? Under these concepts, you can learn so many things about SMC, school management committees, the functions of SMC committee, and Vidya volunteer system, and what about the different commissions which were appointed to look after about the implementation of this RTE program, whether we are getting success or not. What about all these 38 articles which were included in this Right to Education Act? In the same fashion, what we call the child rights, that is according to the Child Right Convention, that is CRC. According to this Child Right Convention, what about the child rights, and what are the different laws and acts made by the Indian Parliament to protect and what we call preserve the rights of the child? So this is the concept what we call prescribed for the principal post in the main examination paper 2. Paper 1 is common for all TGT, PGT, principals and JLs. And paper 2, which is specially designed for JLs and PGTs and TGTs, is their content for 150 marks. For principals, there is no content. For the post of principals, instead of content, the paper 2 for 150 marks is totally reserved for child development and different child acts and child rights. This is the syllabus for the principal post. And non-teaching post, till now there is no clarity from the government. So soon after that notification, we can expect somewhat syllabus for those non-teaching posts, that is administrative post, accounts post or librarian, whatever it is. For degree college, what we call lecturers, for them the general studies paper, qualifying examination paper is quite common, and paper 1, paper 2 contains only their related content only for 300 marks. This is the bifurcation for the recruitment process for the teachers in the what we call Gurukulas under the Telangana Gurukula Society. So simply all these teaching posts are bifurcated as TGT, PGT, principal, JLs and lecturers in degree college. 5 categories which comes under the teaching post. And a non-teaching category, that is different, what we call office cadre, what we call it as the administrative post. For these concepts, so this is in brief. The first examination, part 1, is nothing but qualifying examination, which includes general studies. After that, main examination that is consists of two parts, that is paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 is for 150 marks, paper 2 is 150, total 300 marks. So the selection of the candidates depends on the marks what they are going to get out of this 300 marks. The part 1 is only meant for the qualifying examination. This is the concept and examination pattern and the syllabus which was prescribed by the Telangana government as well as Public Service Commission for this Gurukul recruitment teacher post. Thank you.